a lot at the moment. I played it 7 times, so I've hit 7 or 8 times, and I've won. I've won 6 out of 7. The only game I lost to was against Nick Pert. For those of you who know Nick, he's a grandmaster, so it's quite acceptable. Although that game didn't go badly at all. Apparently, I missed a draw, which is a shame. But that was in a rapid play tournament, so anyway, yeah. So E3, which looks like a stupid move, and I mean, if someone played this against me if I was black, especially a couple of years ago, I'd just be like, what is this? This load of rubbish. But it was quite interesting because I played. Many of you might know that I played a classical Dutch most of the time against D4 as black, and so what I'm trying to do with E3 is I'm going to go F4 next move, knight F3, bishop E2 and castle, and just transpose to a classical Dutch, except I'm going to be a tempo up. Okay, so either way is to play F4, and now, okay, so they go knight F6, you can play G3 and even play a Leningrad or go into a classical Dutch. The only problem with F4 straight away is this E5 move is quite annoying, because now, yeah, From's Gambit. I could play E4 and play King's Gambit, but I've never actually played this in my life, and don't particularly know what I'm doing, so this doesn't help me either. And yeah, if you don't know, this is what From's Gambit is. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and yeah, I don't particularly know. That was theory. When I play this as black, I tend to get quite good positions, so I don't know. Okay, so that's why I play E3. They play E5. I've had a game where someone played E5 against me, and I think this is the first game I actually played E3, and I played D4. Because I also played French quite a lot as black against E4, and so I sort of thought, okay, after E4, which is obviously a stupid move, I can just go C4, D5, knight C3, C3, C6, and I was transposed into a French, but it's white, so it's actually the advanced variation. So yeah, obviously E4 would be a stupid move by black, and so what I didn't realise is after takes on D4, pawn takes D5, it just transposes to a French exchange, which is known to be quite drawish. So French exchange normally goes E4, E6, D4, D5, and now takes, which just transposes back to this. So exactly the same as D5 here. So yeah, when I actually played D5, I was actually a bit annoyed because now I'm playing a French exchange as white, which isn't particularly that good. So anyway, I tried to castle queen side and got the attack going. Eventually I won in the end, but it wasn't particularly what I wanted. So I later, after the game, analysed this. And after takes, I was thinking, okay, maybe I could try knight F3 and just sack a load of pawns. Now maybe knight C3 and takes, king takes. I sort of found, okay, as bishop checks the line that refutes it. But if say knight C6 and black allows me to do this, and then they get a check in, and then if I get sort of position, I think it's going to be very dangerous for black. I might be able to play bishop G5. Not quite sure. Correct continuation would be here. Maybe knight D5 looks quite dangerous. But yeah, after bishop C5 check, it's very annoying because the idea of putting my king on F2 is I want to bring my rook to E1 really quickly. If I play bishop E3, I'm just going to get in the way. And yeah, if I put my king on E5, I'm getting in the way. And like king on G3, this is a line I looked at, but it's extremely risky. So after knight F6, I'm not even getting anywhere particularly. So yeah, this looks extremely dodgy. I might be able to try king G4. But yeah, we don't need to go into this. It looks horrible. So I don't think this worked either. So what I've now discovered is to play. I can play C4 here. This is one line where I'm just playing Sicilian now as white, so I'm tempo up. Or I can play D4, and after takes I can even try queen takes D4. and sort of like a Scandinavian in a way. Play knight f3, maybe c3. So I could play this way, or I could play like b3, g3, and go into hippo, which isn't that bad considering once again I'll be a tempo up in the hippo. Okay, so anyway, most players tend to meet the c3 move with d5 or knight f6. You know, I play the same sort of setup. So knight f6, I'll go f4, g6, I'll go knight f3, bishop g7. So say they play King's Indian setup, d6, and I'll try to go for e5. I just get this pawn structure, which I'm perfectly happy with c6. I want to stick my king on h1 to avoid any annoying checks. For example, say if I went, I don't know, say if I did maybe f5, check, knight g4 possibilities, could be quite annoying. I don't know, maybe I can go queen e1, but you might get rid of my dark square bishop. So anyway, just play king h1 first. Okay, now I think I've got a good position. It's going to go f5, bishop g4, bishop g5. I'm going to bring my queen to e1 over to the king side. Okay, so another way is to play d5, but I don't think this is that good. Because after d3, c5, a4, knight c6, queen e1, it just transposes into a Dutch that I play as black. Except I'm just a tempo up, and I've been able to play a4 and queen e1. So say the idea of a4 is after I go knight here. If he plays pawn on, I can play knight here, and queen here, I can go here. So it's one that's protected. And this gives white a very good position. So I can might play my knight to c4. This is the pawn structure I'm aiming for. Okay, and so normally I play e5, and you get quite a sharp line where these will come off. I play e4, they take, and I sack a couple of pawns, they take. I go rook b1, queen a2, and actually found after this is quite a nice move. I think this wins. Bishop b5. Actually not sure. Might win. Yeah, because now, well, the knight's been attacked, and say if black's got to be very careful. Because say after knight d7 takes, queen check. Here's a king back, then rook to a1 wins the queen. So yes, this is very sharp. It's hard to see what black's going to do. So I've had that in actually a couple of games as white, and I've won those games as well. Since black didn't really know what hit him. Okay, my friend tends to play against me. He thinks the best way to play against this is to play d5, and after f4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e2, he plays g6, bishop g7, d3, d3, and he goes e5. Okay, in most games we get, I play e4, he takes, I take, he then takes on d1, my rook takes, he then plays takes on f4. So he's convinced this is winning. This is better for black. I don't think so. I think white's doing fine here because after knight c3, we tend to get this sort of position where he plays knight d4. I take on f4. So in case if he takes on c2, I can play bishop b5 check, and this looks very dangerous for. So it's just winning for white. Knight d5 is coming. So in line he plays these takes, knight f6, so I get knight back to c3, he castles, bishop d6, rook e8, and e5. So we've done quite a lot of analysis onto position, and yeah, he's still convinced that black's doing fine, but I don't know. I think black tends to lose a pawn. He tends to lose a c5 pawn in these lines, or white tends to get very good positions. So say after knight d7, I go rook e1. He plays knight g4. So after rook e1, b6, I get h3, knight h6, and now he's going to reroute his knight back to f5. But I found after knight to b5 or after knight d5, yeah, I sort of think I managed to convince him, although he won't admit it, that black's not doing very well since I could go knight to c7, and it's hard to deal with this threat. And then my plan is going to be rook to d1, c4, and maybe even g4 to stop the knight getting back into the game. See, I don't think this is any good. Can't recommend this. Okay, I actually had a game in Florence where my opponent played d6, which tends to be quite good against the Dutch, as you can play an early e5, and this is not really what I want. I tend to want my pawn hit, my pawn on e4, and my pawn on d3 if he's going to play e5. So here I actually played b3, and he went knight f6. So we went to this sort of position, and I decided to go into hippo, which is like this. E5. You went c5 to try to get the game more space. Knight c6. So I played like h3, bishop e6, castles, queen e7, king up. And now he puts knight back on h7, so maybe playing knight g5 and f5. Let's carry on c4, and queen c2, now f4. And yeah, I went on to win this game. I thought my position was quite good actually, because black's rather tied down. He started rook e7, which seems like a good plan. Double up his rooks, and maybe have sacrifices or ideas on the e file. So I played knight c3, aiming to come to d5. So they took on f4, which makes sense, since if I take e takes f4, knight d4 is going to be a killer. So g takes f4, which weakens my king's side. And after g5, so this is what he was hoping for, it's counter-attack. So I went knight d5, attacking the rook. And if he takes, then I can just play bishop takes, or I was even thinking playing c takes d5, since the knight can't come back to e7. And so on d8 it looks a bit passive. So yeah, he went rook to f7, and now I decided to play bishop to f3. So the idea is just play bishop h5, threatening to win the exchange, and he played g4, which I was hoping you played this, takes, bishop e4. So once again threatening to play bishop to g6. Yeah, my king's very weak at the moment, but it's actually not that weak. I'll show you a couple of more moves. Bishop f5, king g3, knight e7, rook h1, and now it's actually very hard for black to attack my king, and I'm threatening to maybe take on g7 and then capture on h6 possibly. And if after bishop takes, king takes, maybe to play queen check, forcing the king back and then take on h6. So yeah, so he just took here, and I took back the d pawn, stopping the knight into f5, and I got a very strong centre. Went on to win this in about 15 more moves, so can't really remember. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it on this e4 move. I mean, if they play any g6 or knight f6 moves, he's playing the same idea. He's go f4 and play classical Dutch, but it's white. Tempo up, which can be very useful. And yeah, if they go e5, this is the main sort of annoying move. Then, I mean, c4 is fine. You can play b3 if you wanted to. d4 is not too bad. You can sort of go into gambit. Personally, I think I prefer c4. I'm just going to Sicilian here. Anyway, thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.